Have you ever been so close to a problem that you couldn't solve it? You had too much emotional baggage. You had right way and wrong way thinking. The harder you tried, the more you were stuck. And then one day you got on an airplane or a bus and you sat next to somebody you didn't know. You discussed the problem with them, and voila, all of a sudden we have an answer. It's not that they were more creative. It's not that their answer was a particularly brilliant answer. It's that they took a different perspective on your challenge. Now, one of the attributes of creative thinking isn't necessarily that we have to have a more interesting idea. It might mean that we take a different perspective on that idea. So I want you to think about any time you've had a real problem and the answer came not by having a better solution, but by taking a different view of that problem. This is called lateral thinking, solving our problems indirectly. And it's a term that was coined by Dr. Edward de Bono. Now, de Bono actually developed a technique to help us with this called the six thinking hats. And what de Bono thought was that if we actually took on different roles or different personas, if you will, different modalities of thinking, that we could actually individually or in groups have a better chance of looking at our blind spots and solving the problems. So these hats represent different points of view. Some are objective or information, some are more emotional, some have to do more with judgment, some have to do with affirmative optimism, yes, we can do it, and some are just about being radically creative. But if we look at this from all these perspectives and we suspend our voice of judgments, if we wear these six thinking hats, whether individually or in groups, we're more likely to develop an interesting perspective. So let's try one together. Let's think about something that we might be encountering. So let's say we're a small regional power company, and we're not one of the big giants, and we produce power for a couple of counties. And one of the things we're trying to figure out is, should we get into alternative, eco-friendly energy? But we're not sure whether we should or not. And so everybody in our group takes on a different hat or a different perspective, a different point of view. One person takes on the perspective of data. They look at all the data. Has anybody been successful at this? How much does it cost to get into this? Another person wears the red hat, and the red hat is all about being emotional. This is something that we should really do. It's for the good of the community. It's saving the earth. But somebody's wearing the black hat, and the black hat is about being critical, making sure that we're not being overly optimistic. They're kind of the devil's advocate, and somebody else is being the cheerleader. They take on the yellow hat. We should really do this. It's we can do it. We have the ability to do this. Let's get in there and do it. Somebody's wearing the green hat. They've got radical ideas. We can use experimental technology that costs less, and it's more commercially available to small people like us if we were to try it. And somebody's wearing the blue hat, which is keeping the other five hats working together, not against each other. So the notion is, we're taking these different perspectives. We're not trying to create an argument. We're trying to figure out a different pathway. Is there a perspective in here that's going to allow us to get to the next place? And it could be any one of the perspectives, or it could be some combination. So it could be a combination of, yes, we need to do this for the people, but we can't spend too much money, but we're going to have to use simpler technologies. Maybe we should run an experiment. And that becomes our way forward. So by looking around the problem and by sort of querying all these different perspectives, we're going to come up with something that's both imaginative and creative, but also feasible and doable. So part of having a creative mindset, part of elaborating ideas, isn't just generating new ideas, it's looking at our challenges differently.